Thank you.
David, welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Premier League as well.
Thank you very much.
Do you feel you have unfinished business here?
I certainly do feel as if I've got unfinished business. I really enjoyed my time here last time. I felt by the end of the time we had turned things around, gone in a real positive direction with the players, and I think the players would say that as well. I think they really enjoyed the end of the time. Obviously, I would like to have developed that and worked from there, but it didn't quite happen then. But overall, look, I'm smiling. It was great to come in through the doors and see the men at the doors, and then everybody come in. It made it really easy today.
I know it's about looking forward, but do you feel you were badly treated by the club last time at the end?
No, I don't, because obviously things were done correctly, in as much as that I wasn't taken on and I was told that. I was disappointed, which I said, but this is why I've got another chance to go again. And I think it says something an awful lot about the owners, and they've thought that the job that I did do with my staff was good enough to give me another opportunity. And this time I'm going to make it where there's no choice, that they would always be wanting to renew in the future.
You spoke there about with your staff. Have you made any decisions regarding that?
I'm getting round to it at the moment. It's all been incredibly whirlwind, from sort of last Saturday night where it changed and getting down yesterday. I can confirm that Alan Irvine will definitely join me, and I'm working on one or two other things at the moment, but nothing which I can completely confirm.
Can I just ask you about Stuart Pearce, because he was here with you last time, there's been talk in the game this time.
Yeah. Well, he's certainly one of the people who's under consideration, but also Stuart Pearce has other commitments and other jobs, so there's other things we just need to look into, and that's why on several things it might just take us a few days to get things sorted.
And just regarding the contract, black and white is 18 months.
Yeah.
Include clauses about automatically being extended depending on how you do it?
Yeah, there is. I can extend it. There's a clause in there which can extend it. And look, I'm really that thrilled to go again, and I'm going to make it impossible that the clause can't be implemented. That's for sure. So that's my plan, and now it's for the players to carry it out.
A lot of people make a lot of noise on social media. Many football supporters don't use social media, but those that do make a lot of noise, quite a few of them aren't particularly over the moon about your appointment. What would you say to them and to all the fans?
Well, I'd say that what MD's getting here with me is a very experienced Premier League manager. Arguably, there's only 2 or 3 who've got more experience, games in the Premier League. I think I've probably got the biggest win rate out of a certain amount of managers as well. So I think if you're putting it that way, that's what I do. I win, and I'm coming here to West Ham initially to try and get us wins and away from the wrong end of the table. But my bigger picture is to have a strong team, a really good footballing team, attacking team, and all those things I have to bring to the table, and I hope to do so.
Sure, you've changed and developed in the past 19 months. Football has as well. You now have VAR, week in, week out. From what you've seen, are you looking forward to working with VAR?
Well, what I'd say to you about myself in the last 18 months, I've tried to make sure I've educated myself as much as I could in my time off. I've worked closely with UEFA in all the Champions League football, trying to work with all the games, watching all the games in the Champions League. So keeping up to date with what's new, working in all the pro licenses, speak at a lot of conferences. So for me, it was about staying in touch with football. For MD watching and looking at VAR at the moment, I think it's got mixed reactions from where you are. Some people will think it's great, some people not so good. When it came in, my first feeling was to think this is going to be very good. I think in truth most people would probably argue it's been pretty disappointing in the outcome of a lot of it. It's here, we have to embrace it. And I've got no doubt there'll be games in the future where I'm complaining about it or saying it's not very good. But I think that's football.
Offside, my final point, if you don't mind, we've had Graham Souness suggesting that an attacking player should, if they tweak it, only be offside if none of his body is onside. So the opposite of what we got.
Yeah, I think that what they've tried to do is a real clarity of black and white with the situation, and you can't argue that really. But I do understand. I think we're all getting a bit disappointed. We're seeing which looks like good goals and finding that somebody's fingers offside or their toes offside. So it is something that maybe they'll look at, but to be honest, I think it looks like one of these things that's just they're very clear on. I think there's some other decisions which are maybe more sort of dubious in what people think, but I think the offside one's either black or white, really.
Thanks, Gareth. Jonathan?
David, you said you've educated yourself. What in particular have you been struck by in the 18 months when you've been watching and getting involved in different ways in football?
Strange enough, there's a lot of new modern things out in football and how the game's played, but actually I think recently there's been signs of things going back in ways, because I think we do want to keep possession, but I think, for example, if you use possession as something when being modern, I think you might say now that possession is not seen by even you people as maybe the key to winning games. I think we're seeing, teams, we want to see more attacking football. I think we want to see action and excitement. And the biggest thing I want to see from my team in time would be the supporters to be excited by watching the team, by how we play. I would love that to be the case, where the West Ham supporters are coming away thinking that at the end of the games. So from what I'm seeing and what I'm picking up, I think goals are getting scored differently in modern football than maybe times gone past. But yet there's still things just coming back which I've seen in regular games recently, where I'm seeing quite a lot of balls, long passes, I'm going to call them long passes, which is running in behind, which might have been seen more in the past rather than lots of passes before you score. So I think football, the basics will always be there, but I really think that there's a lot of new modern techniques coming in, and I'm looking forward to giving them all a go.
I was going to say, how easy is that for the older you get? Often it's not easy for people to adapt to new technology or new ways of doing things. How easy are you finding that to go, I need to involve that, I need to do this?
Well, I think because I've been really fortunate to be working for UEFA really in the background on different things, has kept me right up to date and on what's new and what's trending in football. But I watch a lot of football. I go to games, I'm at games most weekends. I love football generally. I'm a football man, I'm a football supporter. So I think from that you're always looking to pick up new ideas and see what's out there.
Any teams in particular which have excited you and you thought that's interesting?
Well, I think if you were talking about what would excite you, the Red Bull model, for example, which I went to go and see a while back, excited me with, and if you look how Red Bull Salzburg have done, Red Bull Leipzig I've done, you'd probably say, yeah, I can see that, in the way they've used younger players and how they've tried to develop it. So I do admire. There's a lot of things to look at. I think you'd have to have admiration for how the top of the Premier League are playing at the moment. Liverpool, I think they've got some really, really talented players and they're playing a really good brand of football.
Hey David.
Thank you. Hi there.
Last time you were here, you were clearly disappointed to be let go. When the owners got back in touch and asked you to come back, was there a degree of humble pride in you?
No, but what I would say is I think it showed quite a lot of class from the owners, and I think that's what at times maybe they can be misconceived. But I've got to say, David Sullivan, David Gold, who I've had a bit of lunch with just now, were excellent. It was very simple when he called me, asked me did I want to come back, and I said I can't wait. So when that happened, then really it very quickly got in on the way. We didn't really talk about anything before or anything in the past. We were really just talking about the team now, what we're going to have to do, position we're in, and it all went very well.
You're clearly inheriting an expensive squad. How much money did you spend in January?
Well, I think there's money there to spend if we need it. I think from my point of view, and what the message I'm giving is, I'm more interested in the players at the club at the moment, because I think that we have to see what we've got here, see how we can mould them into the best possible team, the best possible formation, and arguably I have to say is we have to get results, and it was a little bit like the situation I was in when we arrived before. We have to look to pick up points and move away from the position we're in.
Thanks, Joe. Ian? I always knew you liked London and West Ham. You called it home. You only did this.
Yeah. Well, it does remind me of Glasgow a lot. I think the supporters.
Oh, London, you're okay.
Yeah, well, I would have to say the supporters reminded me of being back home. I think the West Ham supporters have got a lot in common with the supporters in Glasgow. They're fierce, competitive about their team, and look, it's sunny down here, so it's like that in Glasgow as well. You got to remember.
Never sunny in Glasgow. Was it all happened from Saturday onwards, or was there a little?
Yeah, no, Saturday after the game, and actually that's why it's been incredibly rushed, because sort of the game, even if it had been an earlier kick-off, it might have helped me, but it finished and I got a call after, and really it just all kicked into gear from then.
How were you?
I had been in Glasgow and I was driving back from Glasgow on Saturday afternoon, so only getting back then meant that it was pretty quick to turn around and get down here yesterday and get things in place to train today.
You saved the club last time round. Is this squad a better squad than you had inherited last time round?
I believe so. I believe they've got a lot of good players. I think they've spent well on players. I think, if we've been truthful, I think we need those players now to stand up. I think we need those players to stand up and show exactly what they can do. I think the players have a massive impact on what their performance does on the support, and I think they're going to have to do that in the coming weeks, when we'll need to demand all the things which we did before. When I came in 6 months ago, or 6 months, a year and a half ago it was, in the 6 months we had to try and quickly get a turnaround and get something out the players to get us results. We have to do that again. But I do know now that I've got a little bit longer project to look at that, what it's going to look like a little bit after that. But first and foremost is to get away from the position we're in.
First 2 games, Bournemouth and then Gillingham, Eddie Howe, and then someone you played actually with Glasgow Boys Club, Steve Evans.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to all the games, and I mean that, because it's a little bit unknown at the moment how it's going to be. I think the results have been a little bit up and down. I've got to try and get a good team, but I'm looking forward to all the games, and obviously Bournemouth's the first one.
Finally, from me, you've been working for us at TalkSport during your
Yes.
absence.
Yeah.
We love talking about transfers, so I'm going to link you with Olivier Giroud. What do you say to that?
Well, what I'd have to say to that is that I'm only in the door and nobody's mentioned it to me, and one of my experiences where I tried to become more educated was by doing a couple of mornings at TalkSport. So I don't know if that educated me, but I certainly enjoyed the company I had, that's for sure.
Back to Pete.
David, you mentioned that you've watched a lot of football in the time you've been away. I assume some of that was West Ham games. Did you notice something was going wrong here? What was happening?
The only thing I was looking at, I'm saying, is, a lot of talented players, how can you get them, mould them into a team which gives you a level of consistency? Correct me here if I'm wrong in what I'm going to say, but I think there was twice this season where West Ham had the opportunity to go third in the Premier League. Because I remember hearing it on the radio or on the television, and it said, Everton, if they win here, West Ham, if they win here, can go third in the Premier League. And because of that, it tells me that there's a capability of being in a really good position. They never done so, and it slipped away at different times. So for me, I'm looking at it in a positive and says I want to get back to a situation where I get the opportunity to get West Ham one of the Saturdays to say, can we go third in the Premier League? Now obviously that doesn't look as if that's going to happen this season, but it's not to say that it won't happen in the future.
With the Bournemouth game so close to you coming back to the club, how much influence can you have on how the team set up for that game, or what tactics you want to employ?
I have to say it's not easy, because I've just come in this morning, but I've taken the training this morning. I hoped, as I said earlier a little bit, that I can get some of my staff to be with me maybe by then. But really, I can't have a massive influence in what I've got. And I think for me was to try and pick up as much as I can from the people around. Mark Noble's been incredibly helpful. And the staff, which I do know, and people around have filled me in with one or two details. But ultimately, we'll get a team. We'll do everything we can to give them the best performance and the best result we can against Bournemouth.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Cameras off.